guys, good morning. Happy coffee talk. Wednesday morning, dark as dark can be outside because it's 6 a.m. I am drinking Black Rifle coffee in my seashell mug. Check out that mug. It looks just like the inside of a seashell. So if you can't see it, I actually put these videos on Facebook Live and on YouTube. So if you want to see my coffee mugs that I'm always referencing, come check it out. But if you're just listening, the reason I even share it with you at all is almost like if we were just having coffee and sitting down together before we had a chat and start our day, I would probably tell you about my coffee mug. It's one of the only knickknacks I collect. And so I don't really collect anything. I just have coffee mugs. And so I would probably tell you about it. And so that's why I do. And I would tell you what we were drinking, which today is Black Rifle coffee. So I want to dive right into a coffee talk message. I want to talk about my Instagram post saga from yesterday. It's not really a saga, but I think it's an important discussion. And so I made a post, I think it was a couple of days ago, and I used an old video from months ago, actually. I just wanted to post a video reel on Instagram. So I snagged one where I was doing chicken thighs, and I had put chicken thighs in the air fryer. I had a seasoning blend. It's like a carne asada seasoning blend. It's not something I've worried too much about. I put the seasoning blend on there, cook it, the end. Like that was the point of the video, was things can be pretty simple. Don't overthink it. Use a seasoning blend and boom, you're done. So yesterday, a gentleman from, I'm guessing California. I don't know why I think California, but I think he's from California. Commented on my video of how terrible this seasoning blend is because it has hydrogenated oils in it, and what kind of a terrible person I am that I would ever suggest that anyone should use it, and that I obviously know nothing about nutrition, and he just, it was not a nice message. And so I responded as nicely as possible and said, hey, that really wasn't the point of the video. Everybody should probably check out ingredients, but I'm in the business of helping people make small steps and making real food at home more doable. And so here is what I suggested. Like, if you don't like that seasoning, you don't have to have it. And that was basically what I said. Well, then he came back with more, telling me again, obviously, that I'm he went so far as to say I'm out of shape. I could never be dedicated to anything. He was just this terrible person. And then ultimately, maybe he's not a terrible person. Maybe he just is having a bad day. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But goes on to tell me that he knows more about nutrition than anybody that I know, and that who could possibly have a hard time putting together simple meals at home. Like, what's wrong with them? Or maybe they 16-year-old boys, they don't know how to cook at home. And that me, my whole team, and everybody I know, he knows more about nutrition than all of us because he trains professional athletes, and we're eating poison by consuming a seasoning blend. And I genuinely was nice, and I just said, listen, I'm not in the business of perfection. When I was struggling and 50 pounds overweight, I was pretty intimidated by healthy food. And so I just needed small doable steps, and I needed it to feel less daunting. And that's what I do. I don't claim for it to be perfect. I'm not perfect. The people that I coach aren't perfect. There probably are good reasons why you might not want to, that person, if he doesn't want to consume a seasoning blend, he doesn't have to. This wasn't like some weird, craziness. This was just like a regular seasoning blend. It probably just had the preservative in it that he didn't like. So anyways, point of all that is that he was deliberately and intentionally coming for me, and that's fine, because at the end of the day, that's going to happen. I don't put things out on the internet thinking that everybody's going to like it. I'm generally not a very controversial person, so luckily this doesn't happen to me very often. However, it's going to happen more and more, and that's just the thing. But the irony of it all was that he actually hit something that I think is critical in why I do what I do and why it matters, which is that his viewpoint on nutrition was that if it's not perfect, if we don't have full discipline, if we're not in excellent shape, then we're all just these pieces of crap. That was really his perspective. And you know what? A lot of people have that perspective. A lot of people have that same judgmental viewpoint on people, particularly women, who struggle with their weight, who struggle with managing life's, all the things, who don't want to look at every single thing and make sure that it came from the perfect organic source because it just feels overwhelming. He basically shit on all of us and said that we're worthless pieces of crap. And not only that, but like limited our potential to saying that we could never, and what he hit on was a completely different perspective on health and fitness that I do not agree with. I have said from the very beginning, and if you've listened to this podcast for a while, I genuinely believe that healthy lifestyle changes can be made one doable step at a time, and that small and meaningful wins, when you're doing them consistently, add up and create consistent change. This is at the core of my message. And in fact, I want the people who feel rejected by some jerk like this to be in my universe, because you know what? I'm not going to judge you for not being perfect. I'm not going to judge you for feeling overwhelmed, that it's hard to cook dinner at home. I'm not going to judge you that you're overweight. I'm not going to judge you that, figuring out the perfect ingredient just feels like something that is challenging. I'm not judging you for any of that because I've been there, and you can make very meaningful changes to your health and to your body by doing small, imperfect, consistent steps forward. And his philosophy is exactly the opposite of mine. And his philosophy is part of the reason why people don't even try, because they feel like somebody like that would say something like he did. Now, fortunately, he said it to me, and I don't care. I mean, does it hurt me a little bit? Maybe, but like not really, because I have confidence in what I'm doing. I know where I've been. I know what I'm trying to do in this universe. And he is clearly showed himself to be, kind of a small man, to be honest. He made a point to tell me that he does nutrition for, celebrities and professional fighters. Don't care at all. Zippity zero, don't give a flying F, because celebrities and professional fighters have absolutely nothing to do with me or you for that matter. And so I wanted to share this because, one, if you go look at the post, you don't need to feel like you need to say anything to him. He is completely irrational, and it wouldn't do you any good either. And I was nice. So that's the way I would like to leave it. However, I want you to know that there are people like him out there who may make you feel like that. And it's not, here's the thing. They're not going to make you feel like that. That is their perspective. If it makes you feel bad, because it would make me feel bad, then just know that here in Fitme with me, you don't need to feel bad, because this is actually the place for you. I would not recommend that you hire that person as your nutritionist, or as your coach. Wouldn't recommend it. He does not believe in you, to be honest. He does not see the potential. He does not believe that small and meaningful steps forward will add up to do anything. He does not believe in people who are imperfect being able to find success. He doesn't believe in any of that stuff. And a lot of people don't. And you know what? Screw them. Do you. We'll just do our thing. And I think like team not perfect. I made a joke when I was talking to him. I said, I'm on team not perfect. And he thought that was terrible too. But at the end of the day, I'm on team not perfect. And maybe you are too. Maybe the fact that you listen to this, you're on team not perfect. I'm not perfect mom. I don't have a perfect body. I don't eat perfectly. I'm kind of sometimes a mess with some stuff. Just in general, I spill food on myself all the time. There are plenty of things in my life that I would consider to be not perfect. My workouts aren't perfect. All of those things. I'm doing the best that I can. That's it. That's all I'm doing. I'm doing the best that I can. There have been seasons in my life that I didn't do the best that I can. I needed to do better. I'm doing the best that I can right now, and so I don't care what he says. Do not care. Now, if you're in a season of your life where you're not doing the best that you can, and you know that, well, then that's okay to say, I'm going to do better. I want to change. I want to do better for myself. And what is that better? It is small, meaningful, consistent steps forward, taking better care of yourself. It is one meal at a time. It is one glass of water at a time. It is one workout at a time. It is surrounding yourself with people who will support you and encourage you and challenge you one at a time. It is one walk at a time. I don't care if it's 10 minutes or if it's 40 minutes or if it's 3 days. I don't care. It is one walk at a time. You do what you can do. That's it. So you do the best that you can for today. And it matters. I don't care what this guy says. And so just know there are people like that out there. I mean, I was having a coaching call yesterday with one of our new clients, and she was telling me that, and she had told me this before because we had talked in the past, but she told me that there was this time that she was working with a nutritionist, and the nutritionist told her not to eat yogurt because for some reason this nutritionist didn't like the yogurt that she had picked. Well, she was choosing between yogurt and eating some sort of like fast food bagel sandwich. Well, yogurt was definitely the more solid choice, but the nutritionist wanted to write it off because it wasn't perfect. And so she felt discouraged and she was like, well, I just don't even know what to pick, so I'm not even going to try. That's what happens when people like that bring that kind of viewpoint and put it on us. It just makes it so that it feels impossible, and it doesn't need to be impossible because it's not impossible. When I was 50 pounds overweight, and I started to make the meaningful changes to move forward because I had tried a lot of other changes that really didn't work. But when I was starting to make meaningful changes, they were gradual, they were imperfect, and they added up over time. I slowly cut back on the highly processed coffee creamer that I was drinking every day. I used to drink it all the time. I would drink buckets of this creamer. It was not great. I mean, if we talk about chemicals, it's really the ones that you drink in gallons that matter, or eat in gallons. Like that seasoning, I rarely use it. It doesn't even matter. But coffee creamer, this particular coffee creamer was not the best. And I drank it all day, every day. So you know what? It wasn't going from that to organic, perfect from Brazil coffee that I drank black. Nope. I took small steps forward. I slowly cut back on that coffee creamer. I went from having it be half my coffee to having it be a couple tablespoons to having it be 1 tablespoon to not having it at all. Then I added sugar. Oh my God. Terrible me. I added sugar to my coffee. And then I stepped that back because I needed to swap the coffee creamer with the sugar, and then I cut the sugar back until there was no sugar in my coffee. Then I cut back the cream. Why did I cut back cream? Because dairy doesn't work very well for me. Dairy's fine, you don't need to cut back the cream. But I cut back the cream, and eventually now, today, here I am drinking black coffee and have been for years. So it wasn't snap my fingers to perfect. When I started exercising, it wasn't like I went from 0 to 100. I had 2 little kids. They were crazy. Everything I did was hard, like in terms of my physical body hurt. My knee hurt after 10 knee surgeries. I was 40 to 50 pounds overweight, so everything hurt that I would do. And I was not strong. I had not trained my muscles. So you're darn right, my workouts were very far from perfect. And I would just keep showing up. Was I doing the perfect exercises? Probably not. Was my form perfect? Probably not. Could I have done something better? Maybe, but it didn't matter. I was doing meaningful steps forward for me, and those added up. When it came to my nutrition, I didn't go from eating Chick-fil-A and Zaxby's every day, which is what I was eating. I was eating Dunkin' Donuts, Chick-fil-A, and Zaxby's all the time. That's what I ate. I didn't go from that to eating how I eat now, 9 years later, overnight. It started off pretty small. I gave myself a boundary around fast food, but it just meant that I ate at home. I wasn't trying to eat perfectly. I just knew that I didn't want to eat that fast food all the time. So I gave myself a boundary around it and said, instead, I'm just going to eat at home. Well, then eating at home turned into like, what am I going to eat at home? So then I started to learn to cook. Well, I was a terrible cook. I couldn't even really cook eggs without them being disgusting. So it took time. It took time and practice to build up some consistency. I learned how to cook chicken. That was one of the first things I learned how to cook. And then I put blue cheese on it. God forbid, I put blue cheese on it with buffalo sauce, and this is what I would eat. I loved it. I would eat that, and oh my God, I ate bread. But I went from eating, rolls and muffins and biscuits all the time to eating a much more higher quality bread. I remember buying Ezekiel bread and thinking I was like the bee's knees eventually because I had stepped my way to a high nutrient quality bread. It was small, meaningful changes forward, and they did add up. They turned into 50 pounds of weight loss that stayed off for 9 years. Yes, I gained it back when I was pregnant, but then I lost it again. So that's normal. But like, you do not need to take on someone else's crap, which is really what that dude was projecting onto me, was his own crap. It wasn't about me. He doesn't know me. He doesn't know anything about me. He knows nothing about me. But he was projecting his crap onto me. He took time out of his day, ironically, Mr. Famous Celebrity Nutritionist, took time out of his day to write me these long things and tell me how terrible I am. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because I know this works. I know what we're doing together works. And so I wanted to share that conversation with you and just let you know that the changes that you're making do matter. They do not have to be perfect, and you don't either. He doesn't have to be in our tribe, our club. He's not invited. Sorry, dude. You're like a mean girl, but a dude. And, we don't want you here. So you do you over there. We'll do us here. And that's fine. And if you want coaching that feels like this, that feels like you don't have to be perfect, that you can take small, meaningful steps forward, that you will be supported and welcomed, that's what I do. That's what we do at Fitme. That's who our coaches are. That's what our team is about. Small, meaningful steps forward without judgment, consistency, making changes that matter and that add up, and then continuing to do them until you get to where you want to be. That's what we do. That's what we coach people on. That's entirely what Fitme is about and what we want you to be a part of if that's what you're looking for. So thanks for listening to Coffee Talk. I do have a cool thing coming up. So we are doing a challenge in January. It starts January 9th. It's very much, in the very thing we're talking about. It's not about being perfect. We're really going to focus on helping you with your, meal planning. That's one of the hardest, most overwhelming things. I mean, according to this dude, we're just like dumb, idiots that it's hard to meal plan, but I think it is hard. And this system that you're going to learn in the challenge will make it significantly easier. We're going to do it together. We're going to make meal planning easier. We're going to build healthy meals that you're going to eat throughout the challenge. We're going to give you some structure around your movement and your walks and your workouts, and you're going to have coaching calls. And so it's $97. It's a no-brainer for 6 weeks. And so I'm going to put the link in the comments, and in the show notes. And I would love to have you join us. Again, it starts January 9th. We're going to put 11 more people in it. And so if you want to be one of those 11 people, join us in the challenge and work on your meal planning, and just know it's going to add up. It'll be that meaningful change that you start in January 2023 that, done consistently over time, can make a significant difference in your life. And it will not require perfect. You will not have to weigh and measure everything that you eat. You will not have to have the perfect ingredients. It is not about that. It's about the other thing. It's about, let's clean it up a little bit. Let's make it less stressful. Let's make it more fun and doable, and let's eat better. How about that? So thanks for plugging into Coffee Talk. If you haven't done so, subscribe to Fitme Coffee Talk on your favorite podcast platform. And if you're not a part of our Facebook group, then come on over to Facebook and search Fitme Community. Request to join the group, and I hope to see you over there. Take care. Bye.